Fierce nicknames are afoot at strawweight. We have the Warrior Princess Diana Belbita representing Ontario, Canada now, formerly of Romania, where she definitely got a big-time head start in the martial arts. And Belbita taking on Spider Girl Maria Oliveira. And when you look at this matchup, I mean, for Belbita, her last time out was quite a while ago. She lost to the now 6-6 Gloria De Paula, and Maria Oliveira's first UFC win was Gloria De Paula. So if I put my tinfoil hat on, Maria Oliveira wins by MMA math. But what I can tell you about both of these fighters is that they have interesting lineages to get into the martial arts. For Maria Oliveira, you see that really high tie stance. You see her really struggle with takedowns if she's pressured up against the fence. She herself kind of gets a little wonky with the striking defense, gets hit a fair bit. We saw that against Marina Rodriguez on Dana White's Contender Series.
Do you mind if I do just cut in quick? Both these fighters have extensive records, but I wouldn't say they fight at the level of experience that they do, if that's fair to say.
I mean, for Maria Oliveira, fights at a PRVT down in Brazil. You know that gym for Jessica Andrade at the top, but then Carol Hossa and D. Gomes as well. Maria Oliveira, another cog or another piece in that puzzle. But if you look at it for Oliveira, I mean, she does struggle part and parcel with the grapplers. She struggles with those pressure fighters, but once she's able to land her own shots, you saw that at the end of the third round of Oliveira's last fight against Vanessa Demopoulos. She doesn't cut the cage at all. She just chases Demopoulos and throws like this all the way across. And my biggest point about this fight is, for Oliveira, it's the Muay Thai. For Diana Belbita, I mean, she has karate in her back pocket. She was a 2018 IKF World Champion Karate and a 2012 WAKO Kickboxing Champion. For Belbita, we saw her drop Hannah Goldie in that fight. That was a really good win. But for Belbita, it's either we're all the way in or we're all the way out, and the parts and parcels of her own game, it's really tough to get a sustained offense out of Belbita, to the point where both of these fighters fight the exact same way. It's a lot of arm punches and naked kicks.
And that's why it really comes down to whoever's moving forward is probably going to end up winning a lot of these rounds, because I don't think either fighter is going to be landing these big crippling shots from the outside. And I agree 100% with what you said about Oliveira. She's a striker who has a very fine Goldilocks zone, if you will. If you're really close, she doesn't really have a lot of attacks to deal with it, and you can threaten a lot with the takedown too, which is also going to limit her striking game. But although she does chase a lot, if she is able to keep you on the end of her punches, she does throw pretty good volume. She is able to throw while moving forward. But again, if Belbita is able to evade some of those early strikes and then start landing her own kicks, I could see her win some of these rounds. But again, like you said, the way Belbita fights this fight is probably going to determine how she wins it. Because if she is that fighter who can fight all the way in, I think she has a great opportunity to go out there and win this matchup. But if she's too hesitant on the back foot, I'm not saying she's going to get beat up a lot on the back foot, but you understand what I mean. She's just going to get out volume, and I think in a fight where neither fighter might be landing big knockout strikes, it might just come down to whoever has the higher volume and whoever's moving forward.
And if you do look at it for Belbita, there's going to be a lot of connections that are on this card. She's had Kyle Nelson in her corner in the past. They both train out of House of Champions under crew Alan Hamaljian, and you know fighters like Gabriel Varga. I mean, he was a Bellator kickboxing champ. He since switched over into MMA late in his career. Shane Campbell, who ended up fighting in the UFC, as well as, oh boy, the gentleman, Josh Hill, all out of that gym. So a lot of good fighters out of there. But for Belbita, it's been two mixed results. Obviously, she loses that UFC debut. She comes in, takes on Molly McCann, gets completely out-wrestled. Then she fights Liana Jojua, goes for her own takedowns, and then gets armbarred. Predictably, she beats Hannah Goldie in her last time out, loses a close decision to Gloria De Paula. For Maria Oliveira in the UFC, it's 1-2. A loss to Tabitha Ricci. She was a big underdog in that one, get taken down and controlled for large portions. Beat Gloria De Paula by split decision as about, a plus 250 or thereabouts. And then her last time out, lost to Vanessa Demopoulos, where she got taken down and struggled in the ground positions. But when Oliveira could run forward and throw those punches across the cage, she had success. And her nickname comes from the fact that she really liked Anderson Silva as a kid. And we get to see glimpses of that in her fights. To that. But it really is tricky. So for me, again, yeah, it definitely does come down to the range and the volume, because again, it's a lot of not putting the body, not putting the core, not putting the legs into the punches. We're throwing our arms out there, rock'em sock'em style. And a lot of, when I say naked leg kicks, arms are still up, core stays tight, we're popping that leg out there, and it's a leg kick. Now, I would think that in my mind, after watching some of the tape on both of these ladies, I mean, Belbita, you talk about the level of competition. Oliveira went over and fought in Ryzen in a fight against Asakura, where she's probably going to lose, and she did. She got taken out, and she lost that one in the ring, whereas Belbita at one point, even though it was on the prelims, it was one of those KSW Coliseum cards against Ariane Lipski, she got submitted. We've seen Belbita before the UFC struggle with the takedowns, struggle with the submissions, and that really is the weaker part that we've seen out of the Belbita game. So when it does come down to this one, odds are close on the matchup. We have a look at the Topology votes.
Because they're so similar as fighters.
That's it. It's a surprise to us, it is to you when we look at the Topology votes like this. I'm going to say over under 60% the Spider Girl, Oliveira.
I was going to Dragon's Den it. I was giving like 51% Oliveira. I think it's going to be under. I think they'll be closer to 50-50.
And it's completely different. 791 total votes, 72% Oliveira, 91% by decision for the 28% that have Belbita, 84% by decision. So the fans see this one going to a decision. How do you see this one going?
I agree with the fans. I doubt we're going to get a stoppage inside the distance in this fight. Maybe one of the fighters could land a decent strike. Again, if Oliveira is able to crash forward, maybe get Belbita up against the cage, maybe we could see her get a flurry for a TKO. But again, I do think this is going to go to a decision. And for that reason, I do ever so slightly have Maria Oliveira in this matchup. I think she is going to be the one to initiate some of these striking exchanges. And if that's the case, not that I think she's going to put on a masterclass by any means whatsoever. I just think she's going to be able to edge out a lot of these rounds. But all three of these rounds are probably going to be razor thin.
And a big right cross that you'll see out of Maria Oliveira when she fights. She utilizes that Muay Thai clinch really well. Knees to the body. That's kind of her strong suit is Oliveira. Whereas for Belbita, when she gets into the clinch, she looks to just kind of press that body weight up there, look for a takedown, and then on the break, she's able to land a lot of really good shots. I think the leg kick of Belbita is going to do a good job in this matchup and kind of deter Oliveira from advancing into some of those flurries. So I'm actually going with the Warrior Princess, Diana Belbita, in the matchup. Let us know down below in the comments section who you have in this fight. A big time card headlined by Amanda Nunes taking on Irene Aldana. You're not going to want to miss it. Keep it locked in with Fight Night Picks. We always say, let's get into it.